Greetings, Greensboro First United Methodist Church family. I'm Mike Morgan, Senior Pastor. The last time our community of faith worshiped together in the same place was March 8th. That means the COVID-19 pandemic has kept us physically apart from each other for 19 Sundays. We have missed being with you. But even while we've been apart and our church buildings have been closed, you have faithfully continued to be the church, very much alive, active, and connected to one another. You have supported our online worship service enthusiastically, as well as online Sunday school classes, small groups, and committee meetings. Your generosity and financial support for the church have been phenomenal. Our church's ministry to others through the food pantry and other community outreach efforts has increased. And you all have ministered to one another, providing rides, food, phone calls, and other forms of ministry. Thank you for being the church, even during such a time as this. As Jesus said, the gates of hell shall not prevail against my church. We are now preparing to open our building again and to gather together in person. Our first service of in-person worship will take place on Sunday, July 19th at our South Campus on Carey Station Road. Worship will begin at 10 o'clock a.m. The church doors will be open at 9:30 a.m. to begin seating. While we're resuming in-person worship only at one campus for now, this is a gathering for Greensboro First United Methodist Church congregation, one church. So until we feel it is safe and manageable to open both campuses, let's use this time to witness to all that we are one congregation, united together, working together, and worshiping together. I want to share with you what to expect when you come to worship during this time of social distancing and the COVID-19 pandemic. But first, let me say a word about our online worship. We are expecting the majority of our Greensboro First United Methodist Church family to continue to worship with us via video. For the time being, our online service will continue to be our primary service of worship. There are many reasons one might decide to worship online rather than in person. COVID-19 has affected the older generation much more traumatically, and those with medical conditions, breathing complications, or immune deficiencies have been particularly put at risk. We understand the decision anyone might make at this time not to gather in person. Our live streaming worship will continue each Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. That service will also be video recorded and placed on our website for those who need to worship at a different time. We know some of you may be struggling with what to do. You want to come to church, but you feel at risk or feel doing so might put your loved one at risk. You want to see your friends at church, but you don't feel being around crowds is a wise choice for you and your family right now. We understand. As much as we all want to be together, we also want to keep everyone safe. So we encourage you, if you have concerns, please stay home and continue to worship with us online. We'll see you back in person when you feel it's safe for you to return. Our church staff and many volunteers have been working hard to get ready to resume in-person worship, acquiring equipment and supplies and planning protocols that meet guidelines from the CDC and other governmental and church leaders. The air conditioning system has been checked, tuned, and repaired to ensure the safest possible environment. Our South Campus sanctuary and the first floor of the building have been sanitized with non-toxic FDA-approved solutions, and high contact areas have been well cleaned. This cleaning and sanitizing will be a weekly routine for some time to come in order to reduce the risk of spreading germs. It's impossible to eliminate all risk, but we're doing all we can to prepare the building before you arrive, and we're practicing protocols as you arrive in order to keep us all safer. There are also some things you can do to help. First, you can make a reservation for attending worship by either calling the church office or registering on our church's website. You may choose to make your reservation for worship week by week, or make reservations in advance for several Sundays. Reservations for each Sunday are needed by the previous Thursday at 4:00 p.m. Simply provide your first and last name and the number of people from your household who will be attending worship with you. Chairs will be placed in the sanctuary to match the seating chart, ensuring correct social distancing between households and giving us the ability to assist with contact tracing should that become necessary. The first rule of Methodism is do no harm. And Jesus said the second commandment is to love our neighbor as ourselves. These are our guiding principles as we think about how we will be together. When you arrive in your vehicle each Sunday, all traffic should enter at the parking lot entrance closest to the traffic light. Persons who have passengers with them and are planning to drop them off will proceed all the way down to the end of the parking lot closest to the dumpster and will do a U-turn to come back up toward the front of the church. Then they will turn left to enter the drop-off lane. We're asking all drivers who have someone with them in their vehicle to please use the drop-off for all non-drivers. Greeters and ushers will be in place to open the church doors on Sunday mornings at 9:30. Please note that only certain doors will be open, and no doors to the bottom level of the building will be open. When we arrive each Sunday, we're asked to drop off our family members at the very front door of the building, directly facing Carey Station Road. We should remain in our vehicle until it's our turn to drop off someone at the front door. As each passenger exits the vehicle, they should wear a face mask. Mask wearing is mandatory, and a mask will be provided for anyone who doesn't have one with them. Anyone who is unable to wear a mask is asked to continue to worship with us online only for now. Two other building entrances, one at the end of the administrative hallway and one on the opposite side of the building near the bridal room, will be open for those of us parking our vehicles after dropping off family members. Each driver is asked to leave one parking space when they park between their vehicle and the vehicle next to them in order to maintain social distancing as they exit their car. Social distancing markers will be placed on the sidewalk at each building entrance. It's important that we all be sure to stay in line, maintaining distance as marked on the sidewalk. Face masks will also be available at these entrances. When it's our turn to enter the building, a greeter will welcome us. We will tell the greeter the first and last name in which our worship reservation was made. The greeter will take our temperature with a touchless thermometer and will ask us to use sanitizer for our hands. If anyone has a temperature of 100.4 degrees or higher, or is presently experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, they will be asked to please join us for online worship instead of entering the church building. After the greeter is finished, an usher will then escort us to our assigned seat in the sanctuary. The chairs in the sanctuary have been arranged according to the reservations we've received. To ensure social distancing and maximize capacity, we should all sit in our designated spot and not change seats at any time during or after the service. Seating will also be provided for those who forget to make a reservation if there's space available. However, such seating for those who forget to make a reservation cannot be guaranteed. So please help us by making your reservation for each Sunday you plan to be present at worship. If you need the nursery for young children, please let the usher know. Our nursery will be located in the library for now, thereby keeping all persons on the top level of our building. Children ages 3 and under are welcome in the nursery. Children over age 3 are encouraged to worship with their family seated in the sanctuary. For the time being, we're not providing a separate children's church for older children. Please remember the whole time you're here to stay 6 feet apart from other households and wear your mask from the time you exit your vehicle in the parking lot until you're back in your vehicle after the service. As exciting as it will be when we see one another, please refrain from exchanging hugs or handshakes. For now, touchless greetings are the best way to go and are the most respectful of others. These are the small things we can all do out of love for our neighbor and to reduce the likelihood that we will do any harm. There will also be things missing from our worship services for now. Printed bulletins, hymnals, pew Bibles, or other handheld literature will not be available. However, we will continue to publish an order of worship for each Sunday online. Worshipers are encouraged to print out a copy of the order of worship at home and bring it with you to church if desired. Our worship services will not include congregational singing for now. Instead, we'll be invited to meditate upon the words of the hymn projected on the screens as we listen to our music team sing. We will not use congregational responses either, such as the affirmation of faith or the Lord's Prayer. There will be no coffee or cookies offered before or after the service, and the water fountains will not be in use. We're encouraged to bring our own bottle of water with us if needed. And please note that water is the only beverage allowed in our sanctuary. We will not be passing the collection plates either. Instead, we will be instructed when to bring our offerings to the front of the sanctuary and place them in the baskets in front of the altar rail as the offertory music is heard. The pastors will then present the offerings to God as the doxology is sung by our music team. Of course, online giving options and text-to-give options will also continue to be available, and many of our members have found these methods to be a convenient way to give to the church. The length of our worship service will be shortened to around 40 minutes in order to reduce the amount of exposure time and the need for restrooms. When the restroom is needed, please be sure no more than 4 persons are in the restroom at the same time. At the end of the service, worshipers will be asked to remain seated as the postlude begins. Ushers will dismiss the congregation in stages, beginning at the back of the sanctuary. We are asked to proceed directly to our vehicles as we are dismissed. Others will not be dismissed until previous dismissed persons have exited the gathering space. It's important that we don't have crossover and mingling at this time because this would make contact tracing more difficult if it's needed. If you need to be picked up at the front door, please be seated in the chairs near the fireplace in the gathering area while your driver pulls around. Please continue to practice social distancing as you wait. A greeter will announce when your driver has arrived at the front door. I know this is an awful lot, my friends, and I realize it doesn't all sound like fun. In fact, it sounds demanding, and it is. Please know that we are trying to follow the best guidance from the CDC, from state and local health officials, from our North Georgia Conference leaders, and from our own Greensboro FUMC reopening task force. It is truly our desire to worship together in person again, but it is also our desire to be safe, to do no harm, and to demonstrate our love for our neighbor by being attentive to every detail. Your love and respect for others and your Christian spirit of cooperation and charity that includes patience, gentleness, and kindness are very much appreciated during a time such as this. Please know our prayers are with you, and we covet your prayers as well. I'm looking forward to our very first in-person worship service to resume this Sunday, July 19th at 10 o'clock a.m. at our South Campus on Carey Station Road. God bless you.